you this morning to the Writer's Anointing Show. I'm Dr. Jewel Williams, your host. I want to share with you today some great tips on how to make sure that when you write it, they'll listen. So thank you for joining me this morning. What's my tip for you this morning? My message today is called What is the Message? I think that's key. What is the message? You know, many of us want to write, and that's a great thing, and many new writers are coming onto the scene, and that's also a great thing. But you want to make sure that in the process of your writing that you stay clear to what your message is. What are you trying to tell your audience? What is it that's important about your story? Oftentimes, even as I help and coach writers, they feel like, well, my life, it should be told. And there are some things that may need to be told in your life. There may be some points and some areas where you can share and help someone else to overcome what they are facing. But just to say that because I lived a life means that it needs to be the book or be written isn't always accurate. Because guess what? We all live a life. And everyone isn't going to write their story. We can live our story, but every story isn't necessarily supposed to be written. And so you want to make sure when you sit down to write that you've got some key things in mind. The first thing is you really want to understand what is your message. What is the message that you're trying to tell? Is it about victory? Is it that you're trying to tell the story about survival? Are you trying to tell the story about how God can rescue? What is your message? Even in the midst of whatever it is you're telling, you want to tell the story. And I like something that my husband used to say often, and I use it even as I instruct my students in college when they're writing their essays and when they're writing their work. I tell them this. I say, tell them as your audience, tell your audience what you're going to tell them. Then tell your audience. And then tell your audience what you told them. And so those 3 points are you want to tell your audience what you're going to tell them. That's your introduction. What are you doing to introduce your reader to the story? How are you setting things in motion? Is your introduction of your story, is the fact of the way you format it, is all of that introducing your reader to the story that you want to tell them. And then you tell them the story. Well, the telling them the story is the body of your work. Don't introduce your audience or your reader to one topic, but then your book doesn't stay on topic. Your reader is having to go back to the beginning of the book and keep reading it, or go back to the cover to see how are you going to relate that in. Make it effortless for your reader to know what it is that you are telling them. So the body of your work should be constantly repeating the message and the that you wanted to present to your reader. So you tell them what you want to tell them, then you tell them, and then you tell them what you told them. The tell them what you told them is really your conclusion. How are you bringing this message all together? What are you doing to make sure that what you started to tell them, you actually told them, and then you're concluding it at the end with the points that you want to bring out of the story that you've given them. And I mean, that even works even if it's just a love story, even if it's just a story that's just a fun kind of story. You want your audience, your reader, to be able to follow the line of your thinking and thought processes from beginning to end. So today's tip was just make sure that you know what your message is, because when you know what your message is, you can relate it to your reader and then they won't be confused. So I just want to say thank you for joining me today. I'm Dr. Jewel Williams with the Writer's Anointing Show. If you are in need of a coach or want to publish, you can reach me at TryProduction.publishthevision.com, and you can email me at drjewelwilliams@publishthevision.com. Until next time, as always, write it.